Hey guys, Kaz here, and today I'm going to be doing a tag video. Now, I do have a few tag videos that I've got written down that I've been tagged in that I need to do, but I thought, hey, imagine if I get tagged in something and then do it straight away. Crazy concept. So, I was tagged in this, I think yesterday, so who is she? I don't know. This is the Finish the Book tag. I was tagged by Rebecca Fowle, and the original is by Mika Cummins. And this is a nice tag because it's very chatty. I don't have to try and figure out books or things to put to questions. So it's all about what you do once you've finished a book. So question one is, do you keep a list of books you've read? So kind of, yes. Obviously I have a Goodreads. I've had a Goodreads since, I want to say about 2015, somewhere around there. So obviously everything I read before then, I've not necessarily got a definite list, but since then 100% yes. I also now have a spreadsheet that I keep up to date, and I've had that for a couple of years. I think 2020 or 2021 was the start time of that. So yes, Goodreads, my spreadsheet. I also keep journals that I write down books I've read each month, and I've been doing that for a few years as well. So there's many different ways that I do indeed keep track of the books that I've read. Question two is, what stats do you record? So I've got my phone for this because I need to tell you all the stuff that I've got on my spreadsheet. So the basic outline of this spreadsheet was created by somebody else, and off the top of my head I can't remember right now. I'm sorry, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. But I customized, took a few bits out, added a few bits, but yeah. So I will also put a video or a picture or something here, but in terms of what I've read, I record the title, the author's name, the pages, my rating, the month I read it, the main genre and subgenre. Subgenre I only use for graphic novels because I put that in its own genre. The audience, adult, YA, etc. If it's in a series, what number the series in, the format of the book, the release date, the author identity, whether it's own voices or not, and then we have the date started and the date finished. We also have the race of the author, whether it was a reread, if I've specifically reviewed it on Goodreads, the publisher, whether they're traditional or indie, and then I just have a bit of like a rep section that is kind of a little bit filled in, kind of not. It's not really like proper thing. It's something I started this year just to throw it in there, but I don't really properly keep track of that bit. But yeah, there's a lot of stats. Question three is, do you give star ratings? And you would have seen in that yes, I do indeed. I do give 0.5 stars out because, like, in my brain, first of all, there's no rhyme or reason for my star rating. Some people use Callpile or other things and have specific like ways that they calculate it. I'm not doing maths while I'm reading. That's not how I read. Reading is about feeling to me. It's about emotional connection, impact, whether I enjoyed it. It's got nothing to do with like the characters were a 3 and the plot was a 4 and the front cover was a 1. It doesn't matter to me. The way I star rating is, this book is a 4. That's how I do it. My mind just tells me. And if you've been here for a while, you will know that 5 stars are very rare for me. 5 stars is like the biggest feeling book. I can love a book, I can have no qualms of anything that happened, I can enjoy every part of it, but it can be a 4.5 because 5, it's just like, I know when it's a 5. And to put it in perspective, I think this year I've given out 1 5-star so far, and that was a bit like iffy because I'm very picky. I think the past few years, generally speaking, like definitely under 10 5-star reads each year is the norm for me. It's just not who I am. And on the flip side of that, I've only ever given out 1 1-star. Terrible book. I kind of hate Reddit. And yeah, the most average thing I give is 4 because I read books that I think I will like, and then I like them, and then I give them 4 stars. So 4 stars for me is like the main what I do. But sometimes something can feel like a 4.5. It's really, really good, but it's not a 5. It doesn't hit that hard. 3 in my mind is like very meh average. I know other people might put something like a 2 is there, but 3 I'm like average. 2 is like I actively dislike some things about it and it's just annoying me, and 1, like I say, I've only ever given out 1 stars. Sometimes something's alright, I enjoyed it but I didn't enjoy it so much, so I give it 3.5. It doesn't make any sense, but that's how I rate. Question 4 is, do you review books? And yes, to a point. So last year, I think it was, potentially the year before, I made it a point to like write out a review on Goodreads for every single book that I read, and I did really enjoy doing that. And also it annoys me when I go on Goodreads on something that I've read and it hasn't got a review, because I'm like, okay, but that was several years ago and I can't remember what happened. So I annoy myself that I don't always review stuff. Like everything that I read in 2023 or 2022, I'll go back several years from now and be like, I'm glad you wrote that because I know what I remember. But this year I've definitely been slacking. It's not been something that I've been keeping on top of. I've given out a few, I've written a few reviews here and there. Generally it's if something like, if there's something I really want to say, or if something irks me, if something's really good. Obviously if I've been given an arc or whatever, that's also a reason for me to properly review stuff. But yeah, I've definitely been slacking this year. To be honest, like I really enjoyed writing reviews in the sense that I want to know years from now what I thought about it. But on the flip side, writing really annoys me. I enjoy it, but it also annoys me. For example, I photograph gigs, and when I photograph gigs, I also have to review those gigs, and it takes me longer to write a review than it does to edit like hundreds of photographs, because I'm sat there and I'm like, how do I put words into words and how do I do words? So yeah, if the feeling sparks that I want to write a review, then I will. I've had years in the past where I've written a review for every book, but also I do review every book because I do videos, I do wrap-ups, and in those wrap-ups I talk about every book and I give you information about how I felt about them. So yes, I do review every book, but not necessarily in a written form. And that's halfway through. So here, have some cat clip, have some sponnies, and then I will be back with the rest of the words. Spoken though, not written. Yep.
Hi guys. It was all cold and rainy yesterday and now the sun's out again. You gotta love this time of year, haven't you?
So question 5 is, where do you put your books after you've finished them? That's not even how it's written. It says, where do you put your finished books? I just made it longer for no reason. It's many different places potentially. Obviously, first of all, on my shelves. Do they have any rhyme or reason? Kind of. You can't see it, but here, that's like, well, these 2 shelves are all polar books about polar travel. And then it goes into like mostly fantasy. Obviously that's all graphic novels, comics. Down here I've got, well, this shelf, again you can't see it, but this top shelf of this bottom one, that's just mostly all Andrew Smith. And then I have some other random stuff. There's a bit of sci-fi stuff down here. This one up to here are books I haven't read yet, and also 2 book nooks. And then this is like contemporary. Down here I've got all my arcs. Around the corner I have like kids books-ish, like middle grade stuff. I have a non-fiction shelf. There's some manga down there. So I kind of have a space for it, but also like wherever it will fit, because I'm constantly needing to unhaul books so I can fit in the books. Which leads me to the next point. Sometimes I unhaul them if I don't like them. Even if I do like them but I thought meh, or if I do like them but I don't feel like I'm going to read them again, I will unhaul them. In fact, just the other day I went to my local little free library thing. Here's a picture, I took a picture. And I gave like a massive bag full of my books to there, which is really cool, the fact that it exists and people can just go and get books for free or give in books for free. I took a picture because I put it on like the local Facebook, because I thought maybe people don't know about this, and a lot of people liked it and tagged people and didn't know about it, so I'm glad that I did do that. I didn't do an unhaul video, I just got rid of a bunch of stuff. But yeah, sometimes I'll unhaul it, sometimes I'll put it back on the shelf. That's pretty much it. There's not really that many different ways that I'll do it. Sometimes I lent my sister one of my favourite series ages ago and she still hasn't read it, so you know, that's another place that some of my books are. Just saying. But yeah, next question. Question 6. How do you pick your next book? it depends on the time, the month, what I'm feeling like, what I'm doing. So I'll give you some rundowns. Number one, obviously, if I'm doing my Scrabble TBR, then I have a TBR. That is a thing that I do. I've not done it recently because I've been in the slumps for the past few months. But that is like a TBR game I play. I just pick out Scrabble tiles and then I have to read books that begin with that letter. Very easy, not very much thinking about it. Another one, obviously, if I'm doing a readathon, I will have certain prompts I'm having to fill. The best one, obviously, mood read whatever I want to read. As soon as I just look at someone, I'm like, that's what I want to read, and then I pick it up and then that's the one I read. If I've got an arc, obviously I have to try and prioritize that at some point in the month if I want to like get the review and stuff written up there. So there's loads of different ways that I can choose my next read. It depends on what time, place, how I am, if I'm slumping, if I'm readathonning. So many different ways. Question 7 is, do you have any rituals when you have finished a book? Now, I could have put this in the where do you put your finished books, because it also kind of counts. But the other part of my spreadsheet, of course, let me just get it up here. So I have an owned library on the spreadsheet. Obviously, I delete stuff as I unhaul it. I add stuff as I haul it. And yeah, I mark it off there, hopefully. And then it reminds me that I've read it. So on that one, again, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. So I have the title of the books, I have the author, I have the series number. There's a list for a format there. I really should delete that because I don't use it. And then read, the rating list I need to delete as well. I never use it. Shelves under, I need to delete all these lines because I don't use any of them. And then it just tells me like total read and total owned. And then that's it. So I mark it off on there. All of the ones that are highlighted in green are books that I haven't read yet, and then everything else are books that I have read. And yeah, that is something that I do after I read a book. I go on there and I mark it off there. I also mark it off my hauled section. So one of my goals for the year is to read 50% of my hold. So I go on there and I'll mark off if I've read a book that I've hauled, and there's a little calculation at the top that tells me the percent. As I'm reading this, I've read 39% of the books that I hold this year. So there you go. And that's pretty much it, really. I don't really have any other rituals. I don't even have a specific place for my shelf. I just chuck them in. And then the last question is, who do you tag? Which I have not thought about. I don't know who's been tagged in this, who's done it, but I'll try and throw some names out. I'll throw out Kat from Brews and Reviews, Jen from The Creepy Geek, Katie from The Introverted Reader. That will do. If you want to do the tag, do the tag. If you don't want to do the tag, don't do the tag. I'm not forcing you. You know what else I'm not forcing you to? I'm not forcing you to like, comment, subscribe. But do it if you want. Write down like an answer to one of these if you want down there. Only if you want though. Not forcing you. But yeah, I'll be back in a few days with another video. Bye.